Right. So that's the story. If you read that, it'll give you some background to it, and it's just an outline of the unit itself.
Yeah.
But taking one by one, it gives you a bunch of ideas. Vygotsky is quite interesting if you've ever read any of his stuff.
Yeah. No, I've done Pavlov, Watson, and Skinner.
Yeah, well, they'll probably be mentioned elsewhere, but there are a number mentioned on here for you to look at, that's all. And these are just sort of research ideas. And again, all of these on here, looking at smart targets, organised, which you know all about anyway on there, looking at individual learning plans. And you can see there's not much tutor activity in any of these. Tutor presentation, that's about it. An analysis of the models of preferences of learning. Only a Mumford, a regular one, yeah. Metacognition, the ability to set explicit challenging goals. You believe into that very clearly. Explain how identifying takes into account responses, the importance of multi-sensory approach, which you do anyway, yeah. Habitual behaviours, Sadler and Smith, understanding strengths and weaknesses. That's looking at SWOT analysis and that sort of thing, yeah.
Maslow's hierarchy of need as well in that first unit.
Yeah.
And Mumford. Sorry, I have used Peter Honey and Alan Mumford. I've used
Honey and Mumford come in quite a lot in a lot of areas because they covered quite a lot. Well, they had a lot to say. I'll put it that way.
And I've looked at Kolb's experimental learning model as well.
Yeah. That is again. These are just ideas. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not you've got to do this or you've got to do that. This is the unit amplification. It's just giving you those ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you can actually put in here, explain ways in which theory can be applied to teaching and learning. This will be discussion of learners' own critical incidents and case studies that you can quote for those, but to where the theories match up.
Learner case studies, Phil.
Yeah, as long as you don't name them.
I have some case studies. So can I put them in my appendix?
Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah,
just give them another number. Yeah, just give them another number. Doesn't matter what it is. Yeah. Yeah. How you actually work, the impact on behaviour, group, one-to-one, interactional, which you do a lot of. Yeah. Motivational languages, feedback on process and product. All those things I'm aware of that you do. Again, the non-verbal bits as well. Covered in dyslexia, English with additional language, accessibility. There are some handouts on the VLE for that as well. I put some in. The behavioural one is on, I think. Principles and models of assessment, right? This is looking at all assessment, not just, again, you as a cell, that you need to look at other methods of assessment in other areas besides your own. But again, sample assessment models and standards that you use in your school, yeah, basically. So although it is theoretical, when you're looking at where it matches up with practical abilities, then therefore you can use your own, well, you need to use your own experience really from what you've got and what you've dealt with. And case studies are ideal.
Yeah, okay, I've got some case studies, yes, so.
But then it goes back to the sort of thing you normally do, formative assessment, and then, exit card, traffic lights, questioning, cause and thinking, maximise learner engagement with questions, all those sort of things that you can look at. That just, again, it's just like a brainstorming exercise.
Yeah.
Just to give you the ideas. And examples of assignment schedules and tracking for your students.
Yeah.
An analysis of test questions used for validity and reliability. Now, those may not, I'm guessing now, but those may not apply too much to you.
yeah, we don't really do that in all honesty.
No, exactly. I didn't think you did as well. But again, that's fine. Again, you could always put...
Examples of assignment schedules. So ours are slightly different. Obviously, we do deliver assignment briefs that we fill out. We fill assignment briefs in ourselves, hand it to our internal verifier, and then obviously as and when the students are completing that work, we gather the evidence on that.
Yep.
So would you like to see one of those in there, do you think?
Yeah, that's fine, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, section 3. So that's the
this is why if you do that, it cuts down the amount you have to write.
Yeah. Do you want an assignment brief
the
completed, Phil, or do you think you need an assignment brief kind of both? One that we filled in and then one with the students' information on?
Exactly, that, yeah. It's got to be an actual one. Because you can then talk about what it is, yeah?
Yeah.
Without having to go into any great depth, you can just use the example and say, this is for this, that's for that, and that's why we do that. This person gets involved, the student does this, and then, it just makes it easier for you to write about, because it then takes this, the weight of this theory and principle business, it puts it into a nutshell into actually what you do and how it matches with what you do. Or in the case I mentioned there, where it doesn't.
I know. Yeah, that's fine. I can do that. That might make that section 3 a bit easier for me.
Well, this is it. This is what I'm trying to explain. And this actually agrees with what I've said in mine. If you look at what I've put in here, this is sort of suggested evidence in here. And I've put more or less the same things in. Again, we've got Maslow's in here. Skinner and Watson, Piaget, Gardner. Skillbeck, curriculum as a process pyramid and spiral mastery learning, which is Bloom's taxonomy, really. Yeah. Again, looking at models of national policy, economic, ideological, the purpose of education, national curriculum 2014 to 16. All of these case studies of learners' own experience, yeah?
Yeah.
How you actually operate. So again, you can use those. Again, it's looking at the way that theories and models of curriculum development can be applied. So individual research into your own curriculum area, a written report outlining how the curricula have been developed in your own school and the effects of meeting those requirements. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's basically telling you what to do. Yeah. Again, list is meant to cover most situations, but not all of the relevant. Yeah. This is what I've just been saying. Yeah. Now, analyse models and theories of reflection and evaluation. Now, I've put a cross-reference in here, but it doesn't actually work too well. You need to look at the theories of reflection and evaluation. Kolb is well stated here. Honey and Mumford again come into that as well. I'm trying to think of anybody else is in there. But no, it's basically shown that's a critical incident approach and the way it's actually looked at. And again, an individual analysis of the different models of reflection. Yeah. So, well, again, there's no wrong answers here. That's actually saying what you think about it.
Yeah.
What models of reflection mostly meet your needs?
Yeah.
Explaining where this is, well, I've already said that. This is where it matches up with what you think of the way you work. Action planning, produce your own action development plan from your reflective activity. Did you do a SWOT analysis right at the start?
Yeah.
Again, it says here, SWOT analysis. Put your SWOT analysis in here as well. Use that, give that a reference number and stick it in. Yeah. And again, references to previous units for this part can perhaps be used in full or part on 5. Yeah.
Okay.
And that is it.
Okay.
There are only 5 learning. There are only 5 learning objectives on this, and most of them have only got 2 assessment criteria, apart from the first one, which I think has 4. Yes, 1.4. 2.1, 2.2, then it goes on to 3.1, 3.2, 4.1, 4.2. So there's less of it, this unit. As I said, they do get better as it goes along. And of course, as you build your repertoire of material up that you've already produced, there are more and more chances to be able to use some of that or refer to some of that in the further work that it moves along. Okay. Well, we'll have that away again now. I'll bring that back up. Again, make your analysis from the models. Yeah. Check your responses at Unit 1 covering initial assessment, as you may have evidence of this on there for that. Yeah. This could be cross-referenced with Unit 1, 2.1, 3.3 and 3.4. Again, check your responses at Unit 1 over communication processes, yeah. I'm pretty sure, because of the way you use, or the methods you use to communicate different things in your organisation, you probably actually covered that in Unit 1. But again, just have a read what you've said, and then follow it up from there. Read and respond here. You have focused particularly on the assessment theory on this one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, explain ways in which it can be applied. Again, use a case study or apply it to one model of assessment of your learner work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, it's the same thing as a case study, only it's worded different. That's all. Again, analyse theories and models of curriculum development. Read and respond. As I said, there's work on the BLE for that. But this one, 4.2, most of this context is LO4 will be taken from Chapter 4 of the e-book Teaching and Learning in HE. Some of that, of course, will not apply to your circumstance. 5.1. I've got the handout, the reflective teacher in there to have a look at, and explain the theories and models of reflection and evaluation. Apply the theory to task 5.1 of your learners, use examples of your assessment work, and explain the evaluation, how it is done in terms of you as a teacher. Ignore that last bit.
Yeah, okay.
I'll take it out. Excuse me. Than it has before. So this is literally, have you got a copy of this?
Yeah.
Right, because I was just going to say, all you need to do is download the one off the BLE and then give it a different name when you save it. Just make sure you put your name at the top. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that just put about 8 pages on it. Yeah,
just put Unit 3, Zoe, and then it picks it up from there. Once we get it onto the platform, then we can just keep sending it backwards and forwards like the others. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. I don't end up with about 4 copies of everything. Right. Okay. I'm just going to do a quick move on. It's only an outline. I don't want to confuse you. So let's put that down. Yes, I do. Give over. Now, Unit 4 is, as it's titled, it's looking at wider professional practice and the development in education and training. So it's looking at concepts of professionalism and dual professionalism. Again, read and respond, chapter 28. I've already got a handout on dual professionalism. One of the things that happened quite a few years ago now, is that because when the NVQ system came in to run alongside academic progression, a lot of things changed in higher education. People like me suddenly became teachers, who were actually tradesmen before, or engineers, and they brought a different sort of professionalism to the fore. Now, initially, a lot of the lecturers didn't really want to know us. Because we were coming in and we could deliver the stuff that they were delivering, but we could also do the work as well. We could actually show the hand skills and everything else. And they were a bit concerned about that. And I ended up at one of the colleges I went to first. It was North Trafford, I think. And I got the lecturers together and I said, I want to do a short chat with you about our role and what we're here for. And I explained that our main job would be to assess the work that was being done at level 2 in the college workshops with the lecturers that were delivering that. And also, we'd be doing the assessment at level 3 out in the workplace so that we weren't encroaching on their territory. We would be able to fill in if they were off sick or anything like that. But that was just a thing. But this whole thing of dual professionalism came in at that point, and what the concepts were, and it was eventually seen that this second professionalism would enhance the teaching prospect, not detract from it, which was, I think, was a way a lot of them looked at it. Yeah.
Right.
So again, it's looking at that. Looking at ways in which professional values influence your own practice in your area of specialism. So again, you're talking about yourself again now, yeah? Explain your response to an example of your own area of teaching.
Yeah.
Explain in which social, political and economic factors influence education policy. Well, quite a few of my students on this are quite politically motivated and really went to town on some of it. And the government got quite a bashing.
I think it's quite different for us because we work for a private educational authority. Obviously, we are government side, obviously, but because we're from in the private sector, I think it's slightly different for us.
Well, it is for us as well because we're not too constrained by that, but we still have to have inspections like you do from Ofsted and so forth, and they are. I nearly said governed by the government. Yeah, they are. They are governed by a set of rules that are being put in and changed from year to year by the government of the day. So you are affected to a certain extent in terms of what you've got to do and put in place for the inspection regime. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, analyse the impact of current educational policies on curriculum practice in your own area of specialism. One of the areas that has been I'll not say a political football so much, but special educational needs have gone through a range of different things. We used to have a special school called the Oaks near Boar's Head near Wigan. And after a lot of backwards and forwards, and they ended up closing it down. And they moved all the students into mainstream education. And it's been a bit of a disaster, really. A lot of the students are not suitable for education. All right, we've got equality and we've got diversity, but it gets to a point if the difficulties that they've got exceed a certain point, it puts extra pressure on them that shouldn't be there, and basically it can detract from the rest of the class that are going through that process. So it's a balancing point, really, and that's the sort of things, social, political, economic factors. Those are the sort of things you're looking at in there. Yeah.
I've actually, without realising, Phil, just gone to open it, and I've done 2,000 words on Unit 4 already.
Right. Yeah. It's really, this one is a straightforward one. And although it's got 5 learning objectives, and some of these have got more. You've got 4.1, 4.2. You've got Unit 5. You've got 5 learning objectives. But this is a sort of, it's a separate thing. It's looking at where you contribute to the quality improvement and quality assurance inside your own organisation. Yeah.
It's making sure that we obviously are inputting into our QUIP, which we do.
Exactly.
All input into our QUIP, and we do that through sort of strategy meetings. So we sit down, working group. Could we improve on? What do we do really well? Next year? And one of the things that's come out from our QUIP is, rather than just the management doing observations on support staff, actually the teachers, that's what's come out of our QUIP this year, actually the teachers are seeing those people, are supporting the students, are supporting them on a daily basis. So actually now the teachers are doing the observations of the support staff rather than the management team. Yeah,
it's almost a peer assessment, isn't it? Yeah. That's fine. And that's part of your analysis done already.
And that's kind of what's come out of our QUIP. And as teachers, we meet. It's not just the management that actually put our QUIP together. We are all involved in it.
You're all involved in it, yeah. Well, that's what I put on here. Produce a diagram and show the lines of responsibility within your organisation's QA process. And use the diagram to explain how these lines of responsibility contribute to your organisation's quality cycle, including where self-assessment's involved, because that's what it says on here. Explain the function of self-assessment and self-evaluation. Identify areas for improvement.
We actually video ourselves taking a lesson.
And
then we actually analyse that ourselves, and then we send it to one of our colleagues, for them to analyse it too.
I think you've got that covered.
Do you think?
Yeah.
So that's what we do as an organisation. And again, that came from our QUIP last year. Actually, how can we improve on our actual, on how we are working? And that's what we decided. Every one of us has taken a video camera into every lesson. Not anybody else in, but it's just had the lesson, and then we've self-evaluated that way, and peer evaluation.
Well, that's basically what this is about. Any organisation or school or college that has a quality process and all the documentation that you need to prepare to teach, to actually do the teaching, the evaluation of the teaching and the assessment, all of that, most schools or organisations will have that documentation in place. And this whole qualification is looking at you being able to tap into that documentation, give examples of it, and explain through basically how you work. And that will meet the requirements of these units right the way through. As I said, I mentioned to you that if any of you wanted an extra unit or a different unit, I could do that. But I think once you've actually looked at the ones I've chosen, I'm going purely from feedback I've got from students here, that those are the ones that match better than any of the other units to somebody going through the process as a practical operation like this. And there is scope for cross-referencing on most of those as well.
Okay.
As I said, Unit 3 is a one-off. It's got some cross-referencing in there, but not as much as the others.
Right, okay.
So Unit 4, again, it's all about your documentation and the way you operate and how you actually deal with that and how you actually, at the end, identify areas of improvement in the learning programs, taking into account the outcomes of the evaluation. So evaluate our learning program, take into account the quality arrangements in your own organisation, and then identify areas for improvement in the learning program, taking into account the outcomes of your evaluation at 5.3. So, are we happy with what we've got down up to there now?
happy now. So if I'll just off 3 and 4 and see it, and if you could mark 2, that'd be brilliant.
I'll mark those 2 and send those back to you as soon as possible.
Okay, brilliant, Phil.
Yeah. Okay, that's smashing. Yeah. Thanks for attending.
Thank
and I'll
you.
speak to you again. Bye now.